This is the best way to beat the giant Arachnid. Let's talk about it. What's good, YouTube? Nugget here. Come with you today with the Battle for the Time guide for Season 3, and we're talking the giant Arachnid. So if you guys look at the bottom of the screen, we got a minute 21. So how can you get something similar? Let's talk thoughts and theories, but before we talk anything, guys, make sure you leave a like on the video. If you're new, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, turn on post notifications so you don't miss an upload. But let's go ahead and talk strats. Now, I personally think that this is the best supports that you can run here. We're talking Maylene, we're talking Eugene Ho, and we're talking the boy Mean. If you don't like this, you guys can substitute. I really recommend Maylene though, and Mean, but if you don't want to use Mean or you don't have Mean, you can sub for Cha. If you don't want to use Maylene, you can sub for Libora or Mean. If you don't want to use Eugene Ho, you can sub for the boy Beck. You can sub for really any light breaker. It's just those three, I believe. So go ahead and use any one of those three, but I personally think that this is the best one. For your light hunters, you want to go ahead and throw on that steel longsword because this is going to increase the damage dealt to enemies with the weakness effect by 12% at advancement 5. And because we have this advancement 10, this is going to increase all of our light hunters attack, defense, and HP by 10%. This is only, I know I said all, but it's really only one per weapon. So if I put this on me, then he's gonna get that 10%. If I put this on anyone, but we have more than one steel longsword, so I'm saying that you can definitely run that more than once. Don't bother with it on any other hunter that is not the elemental weakness. For the boy Mean though, we are running his exclusive weapon, don't really want to change it. And then for Maylene, we're just gonna go ahead and use her exclusive weapon as well. As far as the shadows go ahead and run Egress, Tusk, and Serby. Do not bring Iron here. We're running Serby mostly because of his Knight skill. This is going to increase attack by 20% for all the shadows. That's a very good skill buff. So go ahead and use that exact team in that exact order even. And then as far as the artifacts that we're running half Curse and half Viri set for the boy Sanjinu. We're doing full Burning Blessing for Maylene Fisher. We're doing double Holy set and double Peridot set because the Sylph's Blessings and Noble Sacrifice stack over more than one support character. So that's very good. As you can know, anytime we use a support skill, it's going to increase the user and their team's elemental weakness damage dealt by 5%. And then with the 4th set, we're 4-setting this, so that's going to stack up to 3 instances. So at max, we're getting a 15% damage increase to all our light skills and weapons. And then the double stack with the Holy set, we're going to get an increase of 16% attack. And that's just chef's kiss. The reason we're running 4th set Curse is because 4th set Curse recently got buffed, so now it's not just that rescue effect. We can now do damage dealt up to 20%, and then we're still getting that additional 0.1 damage dealt increase every 1 second. Now, we're also pairing this with Viri because concentration of firepower is a very good skill to run for speed runs with the 4th set effect. So boom, those are all the artifacts. That is exactly what you run. Go ahead, let's talk about skills. Now, as far as skills goes, we're running Death's Dance, Earth Shock, and then we're also running the Commander's Touch, but it's not Dark Hole, it is actually Absorption. This is very clutch. Now, I don't know about how viable it is if either of these skills are not rare. I have it heroic, I haven't tried it out on rare because I don't have an account with these both not heroic, but let's go ahead and talk about this. Absorption is a better Commander's Touch to use here 1000% because this is going to give you mana back. If you recall, we're bringing the Viridescent set, which is going to drain our mana pretty badly, and you'll even see it in the run itself. We get our mana drained pretty badly. It's pretty crazy, but what aids it is the Absorption Commander's Touch. It still works kind of like Black Hole, but it kind of works a little bit better here because we're getting our power gauge even stacked up, we're getting our MP back, and then spoiler alert, we do ult here, so this is kind of an ult build or an ult guide. But let's go ahead and talk. We have Earth Shock, Death's Dance, and the freaking sweet spot of this skill is that when this skill hits, it resets the cooldown of the Commander's Touch. So that is just exactly what we need, man, honestly. So we can go ahead, use that absorption skill, use the Earth Shock, and then use the absorption skill once more, and we do exactly that in the run. Now, before we go in, let's talk blessings. Now, as far as blessing stones, I recommend double-edged sword, weakness detection, bloodlust, and pulverize. There are rarely any few that I would substitute here. The only one that I did run or that I was doing runs with earlier was Advanced Dagger, and I didn't find that this was working. I don't have Reawakening, Heroic, or above, but I probably would bring this over Double-Edged Sword if I had this at a higher tier, but I do not. Now, with that in mind, that is the setup. Now let's talk what you want to do when you get in there. And we're rocking Plum Sword and Raideru's Longbow, so go ahead and rock that as well. You need the Plum Sword at least Advancement 3 to reap the benefits of Amplifying Draw, but if you don't have that, go ahead. There is a rarity, there is a light rarity art weapon that you could use at Advancement 10 because again, it's an art weapon. You can try out the Lycan Slayer. This is also somewhat viable. We can talk about it, but I might get a separate guide if you guys want that out. But let's talk about what you want to do if you do have Plum and Longbow. And the Longbow is A10 because you get a bunch of SSR draws. Now with all that in mind, let's get into the talk. All right, let's get into this run. So to start, we're going to full bloom as soon as we enter the stage, and we're going to summon Mean. What Mean is going to do is get that Sylph's Blessing stack going, and then because we have the Plum A3, we're going to shift in between these two green spiders. So if I play it back maybe a tad bit, here it is. So these two, once you kill these two, that'll trigger the second phase for phase 1, or second stage for phase 1, because it's going to spawn 2 more green ones. So these are probably the most important bosses in phase 1. There's about 4 of them, 2 here, and then once you kill those 2 more spawn. So what's important here is that we're summoning Maylene as well because she has Burning Blessing on it. When we use that support skill, that is going to increase our damage dealt. We're getting in between them, and then we're using that absorption skill. And then it's a little choppy now, but it does kill, and I do turn around, right? And I know it's choppy, but then we use the Death's Dance commanders, and then, or no, Death's Dance, Earth Shock, and then use the Commander's Touch once more to get the rest of those. Now, this isn't a perfect run because for some reason it faced me left when my intention was to get both of them, kind of how you just saw several seconds ago. Now, this doesn't matter because we end up just using the bow. Again, it's a little choppy. It fixes up in like 5 seconds, I promise. Stay with me now. But we use the bow on him, and then here we're going to full bloom pretty much all of them. And then I think right here it stops chopping, thankfully. We're gonna go ahead and utilize that Commander's Touch once more, Absorption. Now, one person or one spider, one mob is still alive. So what I do, and what I want you to do if you're using absorption, go ahead and try to get them grouped up somewhere in the middle, because if there is a survivor, you need to utilize angling using the bow at where the phase 2 boss will spawn. And what do I mean by that? Well, you're about to see in literally seconds. So we're using the bow, but this bow has 2 attacks, or 2 stages to its attack. So it has this stage where it hits the ground, and then we have the stage where he pulls back and then shoots the arrow. Now look at what happens. We take care of the end of phase 1 and phase 2 entirely, getting a score of 27 seconds. This is probably the hardest thing to do when it comes to the end of phase 1 and phase 2. But what is important is that we go ahead and do that. Now I kind of skipped ahead a little bit, so let's go ahead and go right back. But yeah, guys, we're going and basically clearing both of these mobs at the same time. And then the little small mobs do not matter, so do not pay them any mind when you guys are facing them. And then here we are with the boss. We're gonna start off getting a Shadow Step, and then we're gonna summon Eugene Ho first. We're gonna try and break pretty much as fast as possible. What is something to be mindful of is your mana, so utilize absorption whenever you can, honestly. But the mob did kind of hit me with lethargy, so he interrupted me using my mana skill, which again, this run is not perfect by any means, but it is my best run. It is the one we are showing today. Now, let's go ahead and get a Shadow Step. I think now, I don't think I summon the shadows, but I end up going ahead sometime. I think maybe now I summon, but yeah, I do. So here we summon. Here I use absorption again once more because now I'm getting ready for my burst damage. When I summon Eugene Ho, he should be, or we both should be able to go ahead and break together. Yes, we do. We're summoning Maylene once more, and then we're using the Plum Sword. We're canceling out, and then we are using the ultimate skill. Now, I really wanted to wait to get a bow off, but my ultimate did crit here. So if we look, we're at 50 and we end up hitting nasty damage, almost 10 million on the old guys. We were very lucky to get those crits out of the way, but that is how we got 1 minute and 21 seconds on the giant arachnid. Now, with that in mind, what do you guys think of this run? Go ahead and leave your thoughts, theories, and comments below, and while you're at it, be sure to leave a like on the video. If you're new, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, turn on post notifications so you don't miss a live or an upload, and join the Discord server, the No Good Mafia. But with that, I'm out. Y'all take care. Peace.